Hello, Acres of Diamonds audience. Welcome back. I'm here with co-founder DJ Lagoria, and I am Scott Gibbs, and we're here with Acres of Diamonds Daily Diamond number 44 as a follow-on to Rob Sorcy's video podcast last week, where he talked about entrepreneurship and some of the attributes required to be a successful entrepreneur. And then DJ and I were talking about it this week, and we did a quick little brainstorm, and we each took three success attributes, three habits, three things that we thought were required of us to live our best life, to live our most productive life, to have the most success that we could have in our future. And we didn't think a lot about it. We just kind of let it fly to see what our intuition gave us. And DJ, why don't you walk us through the three that you came up with?
All right. So we talked with Rob about entrepreneurship, and that was a big change. Those require big changes in our lives. And what we kind of thought of was, well, we have little changes in our lives too that can help us live a more progress oriented journey. And so initially when we said, all right, we're going to come with three right off the top of the head, the first thing I thought of was breathing. That was the first thing I thought of. As interesting as that may sound, I've been reading more books about how to optimize your life and how to increase various areas of your life. And a lot of it has to do with the way you breathe. And I'd never thought of that before. And I actually talked more in depth with this about Nick Prince, and he was getting all juiced up about it. And he's like, I never would have thought breathing has so much effect on the way we feel and the way we do things, the way we think. And it kind of, the more I broke it down a little bit, they really wanted to harness on breathing through your nose and, not being a mouth breather because you have shorter breaths and things like that. And to take, big, deep breaths in through your nose and then breathe out. And it was unbelievable. All of these positive effects from breathing. And one of the tests they even said was to take a piece of tape and tape it over your mouth and go to bed. And so knowing me, I'm definitely probably going to try that.
You're definitely probably going to?
Definitely probably. I definitely want to try that because I've been constantly trying to breathe more with my nose, as weird as that sounds. But and you can feel it too, because it calms you down immensely, slows everything down. In this fast-paced world that we live in, it's very important to be able to calm yourself down. So that was kind of the first thing that initially came right to my head. The second thing was the importance of physical movement. And the reason that I thought of this was we wake up every day and we go to our job, whatever it is, and we are essentially doing mental movement. So we're essentially thinking mentally, all right, X equals Y, we're selling, we're doing whatever we are, whatever our job is, and we're doing more mental work. It's unless you're a construction worker or things along those lines, but there's still mental work required with that. Physical movement essentially balances out that mental movement. And so I think at least 3 to 5 days a week, having, chunking out 30 minutes of your day to do some sort of physical movement. And it doesn't have to be intense, push-ups and bench presses if you want to do that. But you can do stretching, you can do yoga, you can do some sort of physical movement that stresses your body out just a little bit, that it forces it to kind of balance out that mental aspect. So that was the second thing that I thought of. And then the third thing that I thought of, and this is shout out to Cody Harris, I've mentioned this before, is reading. As I have talked about before, I've never ever really liked reading too much. I had the idea and the perception that I had, the ADHD and couldn't focus on just reading a book. Once Cody had basically said, you can focus on reading a book and you should, and it would make you tougher and it'll make you better in so many areas, I really tried to rewire my brain around it and say, all right, read a book, focus on actually reading the book and getting some sort of content out of it and getting some sort of lesson out of it. And I remember reading that first book and saying, wow, I feel so much different. I feel a little bit smarter, a little bit more intelligent. And I've noticed I've noticed this the most by the way I talk to people on the phone. I'm much clearer with my words. I'm much easier thinking about the next things that I want to say. And I've noticed that a lot of my dialogues have been much clearer ever since I started reading. And I don't know if it's because I've tricked myself into believing that I have gotten better at talking. And I really think that there's something along the lines of, seeing words, seeing letters on a page consistently every single day for maybe 10 to 30 minutes, whatever range you can fit, is extremely important to the way that we communicate with one another. It makes you much more efficient. So those were kind of the three things that I immediately thought of right off the bat.
Well, that's fantastic. I haven't done a ton of research on breathing, but I know for what little I've done, they talk about deep breathing improves the lymphatic system. So the lymphatic system, for those of us that don't know, is basically the waste system of our body. So it takes all the waste and moves it through our systems, and that's why deep breathing is so important. And the other point is it slows down the central nervous system. To your point,
Yeah.
the Navy SEALs are really into breathing exercises, and
Yep.
that's fantastic. And you said movement and reading. So those are three awesome attributes. I love it.
Yeah.
And
Like,
DJ, working with you the last few years, yeah, you continue to improve in every area, and I think a lot of it is your reading. You're exposed to a lot of different people. Yeah,
it definitely makes you. I mean, I would have never thought in a million years I'd be reading philosophers' notes in the morning to think about how to self-actualize and find your purpose, and all these very important things that, I think we had talked about this. They figured out thousands and thousands of years ago,
yeah,
and we come back to it, and it was never wrong. And like somebody must have forgot about it, and then we said, hey, this stuff is actually extremely smart and extremely powerful in helping us live how we're supposed to live, and helping us find our purpose, and helping us figure out how we can serve others and make other people better and make this world a better place. So, thank you to reading, and thank you to Cody. It really has changed my life.
awesome, and thank you to you, DJ. Appreciate it. Daily
Yes.
Diamond number 44 in the books. Thanks, DJ.